how are you? I'm fine. It's the simplest exchange, something we say on autopilot. But somehow, being okay became the default answer, didn't it? Even when you're not, even when something inside you feels heavy or unfinished or just tired in a way that sleep can't seem to fix. We've all been there, smiling on the outside while a storm is brewing within. This isn't about some grand tragedy. It's about the quiet, constant pressure to always seem okay, to present a version of ourselves that's easy to digest. It's the small, daily performance that slowly chips away at who we really are. It est the gap between the I am fine we offer to the world and the complicated truth we hold inside. And today, we're going to talk about that gap and why it's so important to close it. No one ever sits you down and explicitly tells you to hide your true feelings. There's no manual for it. It's something you just learn subtly over time. You learn that being easy is appreciated. You notice that being positive is rewarded. You see that being low maintenance seems to make life smoother for everyone around you. So you start to adjust. You soften the edges of your honesty. You shorten your answers to avoid follow-up questions. You keep things light, even when your heart feels heavy. And slowly, without even realizing it, being okay stops being a feeling and starts being a performance. It becomes a mask you put on every morning. You become a master of redirection, skillfully steering conversations away from your own inner world. And this performance is so convincing that sometimes even you start to believe it. The reasons we do this are often rooted in kindness. You don't want to be a burden to your friends or family. You tell yourself they have their own problems, and you don't want to add to their load. You don't want to have to explain the tangled mess of emotions you're feeling, partly because you might not even understand them yourself. And you definitely don't want to make the room uncomfortable, to be the one who brings the mood down. So, the words I am fine leave your lips before you even have a chance to check in with yourself. It's a reflex, a social lubricant, but after a while, the line blurs. You stop knowing the difference between genuinely being okay and just appearing that way. Your own emotional landscape becomes a foreign country, one you haven't visited in a long time. You've become so good at playing the part that you forget what it feels like to just be. And perhaps the hardest part, the most confusing part of all this, is that you can function perfectly while emotionally disappearing. It's a silent vanishing act. You show up to work, you meet your deadlines, you answer your emails, you laugh at the right moments in conversations. You keep all the plates spinning. From the outside, everything looks normal, even successful. But inside, you feel completely unseen. And the painful irony is that it's not because other people are ignoring you. It's because you've become an expert at hiding yourself from them. You've built the walls so high that no one can see over them. You're present in body, but your spirit feels absent, disconnected. You move through the world like a ghost in your own life, longing for connection but simultaneously terrified of being truly seen. Living this way, being okay all the time, is utterly exhausting. It's a relentless, draining effort. And it's not because life is always hard or that you're constantly battling major crises. It's because you never give yourself the space to be anything else. Your emotional vocabulary shrinks down to just one word: fine. There's no room for confusion. There's no room for the quiet heaviness that sometimes settles in. There's no room for the off days, the days that just don't make sense for no particular reason. So, where does it all go? All that complexity, all that unexpressed feeling, it gets pushed down, it gets swallowed. It gets carried, silently and alone. It becomes a weight in your chest, a tension in your shoulders, a quiet hum of anxiety that you can't quite place. And carrying that weight by yourself is a lonely, isolating journey. But here's what I really want you to hear today. You don't owe the world constant strength. You don't have to be a pillar of unshakable positivity. You don't need to package every feeling into something neat, tidy, and presentable for public consumption. Sometimes honesty is quiet. It doesn't need a dramatic speech or a detailed explanation. It just needs permission from you. Permission to exist. Permission to simply say, actually, I'm not sure how I am right now, or today's a bit of a struggle, or even just, I'm not feeling great. It's about giving yourself the grace to be truthful in that moment, without the pressure to immediately fix it or analyze it for someone else's benefit. You are allowed to be complex. You are allowed to be a work in progress. You are allowed to have days where you feel vibrant and days where you feel muted. You are allowed to be unsure, and most importantly, you are allowed to not be okay sometimes. Not as a prelude to a breakdown, not to dramatize your life, but just to let the feeling exist. Acknowledging it doesn't mean you're surrendering to it. It means you're being honest with yourself. It means you're treating yourself with the same compassion you would offer a friend. That's not weakness. That's not a failure. That is the very essence of being human. Thank you so much for watching and for holding this space with me today. If this resonated, consider subscribing for more conversations like this. Take care.